Wednesday of the 24th week in Ordinary Time.
A reading from the first letter of St. Paul to the Corinthians. Brothers and sisters, strive eagerly for the greatest spiritual gifts, but I shall show you a still more excellent way. If I speak in human and angelic tongues, but do not have love, I am a resounding gong or a clashing cymbal. And if I have the gift of prophecy and comprehend all mysteries and all knowledge, if I have all faith so as to move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give away everything I own, and if I hand my body over so that I may boast but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. It is not jealous. Love is not pompous. It is not inflated. It is not rude. It does not seek its own interests. It is not quick-tempered. It does not brood over injury. It does not rejoice over wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. If there are prophecies, they will be brought to nothing. If tongues, they will cease. If knowledge, it will be brought to nothing. For we know partially and we prophesy partially. But when the perfect comes, the partial will pass away. When I was a child, I used to talk as a child, think as a child, reason as a child. When I became a man, I put aside childish things. At present, we see indistinctly, as in a mirror, but then face to face. At present, I know partially. Then I shall know fully, as I am fully known. So faith, hope, love remain, these three, but the greatest of these is love. The word of the Lord.
The responsorial psalm. The response is, Blessed the people the Lord has chosen to be his own. Give thanks to the Lord on the harp. With the 10-stringed lyre chant his praises. Sing to him a new song. Pluck the strings skillfully with shouts of gladness. Blessed the people the Lord has chosen to be his own. For upright is the word of the Lord, and all his works are trustworthy. He loves justice and right. Of the kindness of the Lord the earth is full. Blessed the people the Lord has chosen to be his own. Blessed the nation whose God is the Lord, the people he has chosen for his own inheritance. May your kindness, O Lord, be upon us, who have put our hope in you. Blessed the people the Lord has chosen to be his own.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Jesus said to the crowds, To what shall I compare the people of this generation? What are they like? They are like children who sit in the marketplace and call to one another. We played the flute for you, but you did not dance. We sang a dirge, but you did not weep. For John the Baptist came neither eating food nor drinking wine, and you said, He is possessed by a demon. The Son of Man came eating and drinking, and you said, Look, he is a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. But wisdom is vindicated by all her children. The Gospel of the Lord.
The first reading is from 1 Corinthians 12, 31 to 13:13. Yesterday we saw about some people in Corinth believed that the greatest of the spiritual gifts was speaking in tongues, that unintelligible language that they call the language of the angels. Well, Paul relativized it, and he does that again. He says, if I speak in human or angelic tongues, but don't have love, I'm like a clashing gong. So he says that what is really important is the love, the motivation for which we do things, by which we use these gifts. Even if I were to hand over my body to be burned, if I didn't have love, I would gain nothing. Typical Jewish exaggeration, going a little over the top. And then he defines love by quoting a poem. Now this poem probably was not written by Paul himself. It's not his vocabulary. But typical of Paul's writings, when he sees a good poem that fits in, he'll just incorporate it into the letter. In this case, love is patient, love is kind, love is not jealous, not pompous. These are words that could be used as an examination of conscience of our actions till the day we die. Because so often what we call love is really affection, or we like somebody because they're convenient, they make us comfortable, we'll get something out of it. Paul goes right to the heart of the matter and says love is not thinking of ourselves, love is not causing violence, but rather dying to oneself. Love is eternal. Everything else passes away. Love will continue. Then he says, when I was a child, I thought like a child. Here he's not speaking about being childlike, which Jesus had told us we must be in order to be part of the kingdom. He's talking about being childish, thinking only of oneself, being selfish. But then I became an adult. I gained the power of abstraction, and I knew what love really meant. Love means loving your persecutors, even as they're persecuting you, because they need it, dying to oneself totally. Now I see only partially. I have a theory of what love is, but the more and more that I delve into my motivations, I realize that I fall short. It's only in heaven that my love will be totally pure. The Gospel is from Luke 7:31-35. Jesus says this generation is like children in the marketplace. They say, we played a flute for you and you didn't dance. We played a dirge and you didn't weep. John the Baptist comes along, he's fasting, he's dressed in camel skin. What do people say? He's crazy. Son of Man comes along, eats and drinks. They say he's a glutton and a drunkard. No matter what came along, it wouldn't satisfy the people. They had their preconceived conceptions of what the Messiah, of what somebody sent from God should be. And when those people sent from God don't match up, they're not ready to accept them. We have to keep our minds open because God often speaks to us by surprise, sends people into our life that we would never expect to be messengers of God. And yet if we listen clearly, we hear that their words cut us to the quick. Especially when we get angry when somebody says something, when we feel hurt, when we feel misjudged, that's the time that we should carefully listen, because a lot of times they're pressing buttons that we don't want to admit are there. We have to be willing to be challenged every day of our life so that each day we can grow in love just a little bit more. And may God bless us.